2023 Honda Ridgeline. This is the RTL. This is the truck that the internet can't decide whether or not it's actually a truck or not. Regardless of what side of that you fall on, it's very versatile. It's very practical. There's a reason why a lot of people like it. A lot of people who buy them continue to buy them. It gives you the comfort that you need, whether it's your daily drive and commute or it's a vacation. Whatever you need, it seems to serve the purpose for most people quite well. And it does have a bed, which in my opinion would make it a truck. It's even got a very convenient, yet messy in this case, in-bed trunk that can hold all the rest of your stuff. It's a 3.5 liter V6, 280 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. While it's not going to win you any races by any means, it's definitely not slow. There's no problems with this on the highway. I've been able to average about 23, 24 miles to the gallon out of it, which I think is pretty good. I've seen as high on a road trip as about 28.5, 29 miles to the gallon, which I think is great in consideration of most real trucks I've had. That would be a dream. These tires, these Firestones have held up really well for me. I've got no complaints with road noise. They're just meaty enough where they make it look like it's trying to be a truck. And I appreciate the fact that they're 18s, which balances that right amount of tire and wheel where it helps protect a little bit, but it also gives you that smoother ride while you're going down the road. Now, I think one of the cool things about in the Ridgeline, it's not cavernous by any stretch of the imagination, but at 205 pounds, 6 foot, I can at least get here, and this seat is where my seat is on the driver's side. I have plenty of room. Actually has a fold down cup holder, which is nice. A lot of vehicles don't get that, and it doesn't just fall down and hit the ground, hit the bottom of the seat here. It's a nice sturdy cup holder, and I like the situation, the way they're situated, I should say, so you can actually utilize it. And strangely enough, rear vents. How many vehicles today do you not actually get rear vents? No rear power outlets though. But cup holders everywhere, phone holders. It's everything that you would need in a pinch. And I think it looks pretty good too. Not everything has to be for everybody, but I think it looks pretty good. And comparatively to other mid-size trucks, not only can I actually fit in it, but the price point makes sense. $40,000, $42,000, you get leather seats. If you go to a Tacoma, you're still getting cloth. If you go to a full-size truck, you're not getting a full-size truck. Front seat, more of what you would expect, plenty of room. The gauge here, the gear selector takes a second to get used to, but comparatively to the Ram I used to have, this is very easy to navigate. Obviously you have cubbies for everything, except for the sunglasses. Sunglasses up here don't fit sunglasses for normal people size heads. It's an odd situation and they will get stuck up there. But you have plenty of cup holder space. You can fit a big cup up here. You can fit this back over here, which is great because on a road trip sometimes I'll get if I want a coffee, it's great to be able to put a coffee here but still be able to take my water. You got plenty of storage compartments along the side here. This is not one of the new Ridgelines that has the center console here, but I kind of like the captain's chairs. I like the fact that you can have the support you need, but then when you do want to put, like my GoPro case, have something here and quickly accessible, you have the room. Or, again, on a road trip, you stop, you get some fast food, guess where you can plop it? Right there. Now, as far as the instrument panel goes, as far as all the buttons laid out goes, everything is well thought out. I like how it is memory seats, 2 position. You have your fuel door opener down here, your trunk release over there. You have auto windows up front, just up front I should say, and your child safety lock right next to it. Now you have your lane keep and your cargo light and your traction control over there, and your selection for your mirrors. If you depending on which side you have that on, is the side that will fold down when you put it in reverse. Right now I have it to the passenger side. The backup camera, it's okay. It could definitely be better, but it gets the job done. It's just sometimes at night, depending on the lighting situation, this washes out really bad, and it's just okay. Visibility is great. The only thing I don't really like, the tech in here all around, it gets the job done, but it is, even for Honda standards, a couple generations behind. And by that I mean the cruise control. You do have adaptive cruise control, you do have lane centering. It's just not very good at adaptive cruise control and lane centering, depending on what you're doing. If you want just a basic, it's going to tell you you're going a little bit too close to getting out of the lane. It'll vibrate a little bit on you, but it doesn't actually do anything to steer too much. Whereas if you were to just come out of a CRV, other than having to touch the wheel, which is capacitive in that and in this, that'll basically steer itself, and it has low speed follow, which is great in traffic. This does not. Neither do the new ones either. They're updated, but it's mildly. That being said, I do like the gauge cluster in here. It's very basic, but it's kind of nice. I like the fact that you get your big tack on the side. I was up in the air how I felt about the speedometer, but I kind of like it. I'm not really a person who needs a heads-up display, but just because of where this reads out, it almost does the same for me where it hits you in the peripheral vision, and it works real well. Is peripheral vision on the bottom too, or is that just on the sides? That's got to be everywhere, right? Everywhere out of your direct line of sight. Either way, it works great. I've got 27,000 miles on this. I've owned it since new, and it's great. It's worked really well for everything that I've needed to do with it. The only other downfall, and it has to do with the audio system in here. It's not great. And even if this is the RTL, even if you went up to the Black Edition and the Trail Sport and the new ones, the audio system is just it's okay for a work truck for 15 years ago. I upgraded the speakers up front and the tweeters. I have JL Audio speakers, and it made a big difference. It's still not the loudest system. It's still not something that if you're an audiophile, you're gonna love it, but it works. It gets the job done. It's something where it doesn't bother me anymore, or at least nearly as much as it did when I had the stock setup that was in here. But other than that, it's a great truck for what it is, or SUV with a bed, or whatever you want to call it. It does have dual climate control zones, which is great. It actually has a third, because you can control the rear back here, which is pretty cool, because a lot of vehicles with rear settings, you can't do that. And you have your own, you can adjust it right there, or you can just sync it all together, which is what I usually do. Put it on auto, turn it off, whatever you want. This does have heated mirrors. It does have LED directionals in the mirrors. It drives really nice. As you can see, I'm soft roading, which is pretty much everything that anybody could ever want to do with their Tacomas or whatever else you wanted to buy, because this wasn't good enough. I'm not crapping on Tacomas. I really do like those. I just needed something with a little bit more room. This has plenty of headroom for me. Again, it's 6 foot, 205 pounds. I'm not rubbing elbows, I should say, with anybody that's next to me in this, which is very nice. It's very appreciated, because in a lot of vehicles, and now even we're talking smaller SUVs, that is the compromise you make, right? It's just so tight. That's not something you have to worry about with this. You do have a moonroof in here, which is a nice add. It's also just a very quiet place to be. Whether you're on a back road like this or on the highway, there's no rattles. Again, we're coming up on 28,000 miles here soon, and I've got no rattles in the interior. The transmission, it's a 9-speed ZF. It does fine. It's definitely not going to win you any races with its shifting speed or the gear ratios, but for what you use it for, I'd say it's appropriate. Handles bumps really well. This is not a road that gets a ton of treatment from the local municipalities, so you're gonna find a lot of bumps, and this does a great job soaking it up. I've been able to get about 400 miles out of a tank as well. I think that's pretty good. Worth mentioning, it's got a payload capacity of about 1,600 pounds, and you could max haul a trailer, or I should say your max weight is about 5,000 pounds, which is fine for most people. Auto dimming rear mirror. You do have paddle shifters. Do I use them? Of course not. But it is nice to have them. Sometimes you can have a little bit of fun in this. Again, it's definitely not a race car, but just given how it's set up, it is something that you can drive fast. You can have fun in this. The steering weight is very nice. It's one of those, you drive a lot of different cars, right? And you can really just, if you wanted to try to sum them up, you know, this is a heavy steering, this is a lighter steering. I would say in maybe like a CX-5, it's a pretty heavy steering for at least this kind of vehicle, or an SUV, or whatever you'd want to go with. And it's not overly, there's not an over assist from the electronics. This is, it's kind of maybe in the middle. There's enough weight to it where you feel you know what you're doing, and it's pretty quick, the response on the inputs. I should also mention that even though this is a back road, when you get on the highway, it's really not that much different as far as wind noise or road noise. It's not, nothing about this is overly loud. It's just very easy to live with. Bikes, I got a few of those. Definitely easy when you have a truck bed, whether it's a bicycle like that or a dirt bike. I've had both in here and no issues, obviously. There is no compromise in that regard, which is, it's just very nice to have it when you need it. Wow, rare stretch of paved road in the forest. You don't come across this often, but I will say this was horrendous over here. Now, again, even though this is not, by any stretch of the imagination, any type of race truck, it is a fun and fast truck. And it can get up to speed fairly quick on you, and it can throw all your stuff to the passenger seat. Now, on average, when I'm not idling to make a video or try to find a decent shot, I've been able to get about 23 miles to the gallon. I don't know if I've said that already, but 23 to 24, which I think is pretty good. I know that's higher than what this is advertised at, but well, that's how it works, right? Some vehicles you're pleasantly surprised. A lot of vehicles you struggle to get to the advertised miles per gallon. This is one that seemingly gets there pretty easy. It's like a lot of other vehicles where it really does depend on your commute, but I've been pretty lucky with mine, where this is not my normal commute, but it's pretty similar, and it's easy to come by good fuel mileage. Again, not right now, but generally speaking. In the winter, it goes down a little bit. But then you have the all-wheel drive, which is great when it comes time for the winter and the snow we have here in the Northeast. Do I think you need all-wheel drive and whatever for snow? Not necessarily. If you live in the mountains, maybe. If you live in Maine, maybe. But, you know, it's a nice to have thing more than a needed thing. These seats, I'm not going to say that they're terribly bolstered, but they do a very good job. That's very cool. They do a very good job of holding you in. They are very comfortable. This leather or leatherette. Perforated, you're not sweating in them too much, or at least I'm not. I'm a 205-pound Italian guy, so sweaty is my middle name, and these seats do not bother me. And that was a quick trip, very quick, but informative. Auto start stop kicking in and out there. And what it's like to have a Ridgeline, if it's useful, if it's something that maybe you should be worth checking out on your own. And I do think it is, regardless of where you fall on what you think that this is. But this is also a little bit of an intro into my channel. And I know that this is very simplistic, and I know that maybe it's it can use some work. I understand that. But stick with me, subscribe, and trust me, I will be putting work into this. I will be making it better, and I do have some ideas on different segments. I will get into tech specs, but I also want to touch more into what's important to people. And what's important to people is exactly how the vehicle is on the road, what they're going to be living with on a daily basis, which means I want questions from everybody so I can answer them. When I go on a test drive of a vehicle or I have it for a little bit, I want to know what it is that everybody actually wants to see. Not everybody cares about the 0 to 60 out of a RAV4. They care about how does that do on the highway. And I want to answer that question and many, many more. That's part of what I want to get done here on Driven Discourse. I want to have a conversation about them more than just sell you on something, because I'm not a salesperson. I have ideas on different playlists that I want to come up with. One, look, every time I look at a review, it's, oh, that was great, but I can't afford that, because guess what? I'm also on a budget just like everybody else. So I want to see a different segment like, hey, what is the best SUV you can actually get for under $30,000? And there are, I think, some pretty decent options out there. And I'm not talking about a base model that with destination actually falls above it. I'm talking about well under that 30,000 mark where you can actually go out and get it today without a big haggle or without it being a big sale. That's one area that I want to go into. Another area, look, if you're like me, you've probably always wanted a sports car, but you need to be responsible, and then you ended up buying the thing you didn't really necessarily want, but it kind of checked all the boxes, whether or not you really needed it or not. I want to see, can you actually get a sports car and have the sports car be your one car? Can it actually be roomy enough for you on a daily basis and your family, where the compromise might be, it's a little tight on those family vacations, but every other day of the week, it is worth it. That's what I want to find out, and much more. So please stick with me, bear with me as I get better and as I progress here. Subscribe, like the video. It does nothing to you. It doesn't cost you anything, obviously. Once you hit subscribe, you'll never even notice, most likely, other than when I post a new video, and you could just avoid it if you really didn't want to see it that bad. But help me out here. And I promise my goal is to deliver great content that people actually want to see. This is just the start.